All right. It is the Sports Mashup number 35. The date is October 27th, 2021 is the year. Lots to cover this week as we have all the leagues pretty much going at once, everything going. We did have a sports equinox last week, which is all four major sports in the U.S. playing all on the same day. I think that was last Thursday, I believe. So that was very exciting. But we'll start in the NBA. The season has started. The only thing that I have in the NBA is the power rankings from NBA.com. Their top 10, Jazz, Warriors, Nuggets is the top 3, 4 through 6 being the Bucks, Nets, and Sixers, and then 7 through 10 being the Suns, Hawks, Lakers, and Grizzlies. So nothing too surprising on there. We'll see if the Sixers can stay afloat. They did get blown out by the Knicks last night. I think the Knicks probably deserve some recognition here. The Knicks are 3-1. They probably.
I'm surprised the Grizzlies are ahead of the Knicks.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the Knicks are still going to be a top-tier Eastern Conference team, especially if Kemba Walker and D Rose can stay healthy. It's a very good team. Very deep.
They have Evan Fournier, right?
Yeah. He's an inconsistent shooter, but he's still a shooter, and they didn't have that last season. And I think Emmanuel Quickly and Obi Toppin look better.
Well, I listened to Kemba's interview after the game, how he said that him and Fournier were brought in to open up the court for their other players.
Yeah, they need help for Julius Randle. I think that's kind of a big thing for them, and a lot of veterans in that team.
What are they missing? They're just missing like an actual 5-man.
Yeah, I mean, Mitchell Robinson can't stay healthy. That's kind of the problem, I think. If he can stay healthy, he's pretty legit at the 5, but Nerlens Noel's there. Still, I think Taj Gibson's there. But, yeah, I think the thing going into this season for them was a point guard, and I think they kind of have that. If Kemba stays healthy, he's pretty good, and D Rose has stayed healthy and has been good for them. So I think that those are –
if they could trade at some point in the season for a legit 5-man.
Yeah, I don't know who that could be, but – it would help. I mean,
if not, that's somebody they need to draft.
Yeah.
I mean, they could take Kofi.
Yeah, I don't think people think of him very highly in the draft, unfortunately.
But that could be a good thing for the Knicks.
Yeah, if they could get him in the second round, he might even go undrafted. I don't know. I feel like he has to have a really good season to be up there.
I mean, if he's a preseason All-American, you would expect that he's getting drafted. And we lost Ethan. So since we lost Ethan, we'll switch over to the NFL. Week 7 notes. Ugly Thursday night football game ends with Browns win without Mayfield, Chubb, Hunt. OBJ got hurt and hurt his shoulder again. It was a rough game to watch.
The Broncos are terrible. So, yeah, not good. I mean, they're going to have some sort of a rebuild at some point, you'd think, because Von Miller is going to be a free agent soon. They have a lot of other good players on their defense that are going to be free agents. So I feel like they got to do a bit of a retool there.
They always end up losing one of their linebackers. Like Chubb got hurt his rookie year, and then it was just Vaughn. And then Vaughn was out last year, and now Chubb's out again.
Yep. And I don't think a Vic Fangio team is going to have a very good offense unless they find a quarterback, like a legit quarterback.
They started off so hot. But KJ Ham was also hurt for them.
Judy's hurt, yeah. But they played the Jets, Jaguars, and Giants, I feel like almost anybody would start out 3-0 with that schedule.
But Melvin Gordon is not the same Melvin Gordon.
Yeah, there's a reason why he's not a highly touted running back anymore. He's just not the same guy.
But, I mean, the Browns they're struggling, but Dearness Johnson looked good.
Yeah, he did. I mean, I thought they'd win this game. He
juked the heck out of Surtain.
Surtain's a rookie, getting there. Welcome to the NFL, I would say, for him.
That was probably his welcome to the NFL moment, was that juke he took.
Probably, yeah. Yep. And you could just keep running them down here.
On to your Packers. They beat the Washington football team 24-10. Football team went 0-4 in the red zone against the Packers. The Packers defense that had given up 16 touchdowns on 16 red zone attempts prior.
Yeah, I mean, Washington's terrible. Their offense should probably be better than it is.
They need Fitzmagic back. Bring a little magic.
Yeah, Heineke makes a lot of mistakes. He does a lot of good things, but he also makes a lot of mistakes. And
Yeah, I mean, he uses legs well.
He had a lot of yards rushing in that game.
But it's just when he's pressured, he makes so many mistakes.
Yeah, that pick that he threw in the end zone was really bad.
The Chiefs get blown out by the Titans 27-3. Mahomes left the game after taking a knee to the head. He was put in concussion protocol and then later cleared, but didn't return. Chad Henne finished the game out.
Yeah, Mahomes looks really bad. I'm still not going to, give up on the Chiefs. I think that they'll bounce back on Monday Night Football.
I think Tyreek also got hurt at the beginning of the game, but came back in.
Yeah.
They're still without Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
What are the Titans at this point? Like, they look good, but they also I don't know. I'm not 100% sold.
I don't trust Tannehill.
I think that's part of it, yeah.
I mean, you've got two amazing receivers.
If they can stay healthy, yeah. And obviously the best running back in the game.
But you can't get him the ball.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not the worst situation. I still think Tannehill's good enough to win a couple playoff games. I mean, they did win that one in Baltimore.
Well, and I think if their O-line can stay healthy, Taylor Lewan keeps getting hurt every other game.
Yeah. Their defense still isn't that good, though. That's another thing. I just don't – I'm not 100% sold on the defense.
No, they need to bring back Will Compton.
I would agree with that, yeah.
Get the boys back together.
Game. If they could stay on the field together.
Yeah.
Who knows?
And then the Falcons beat the Dolphins on a what's his full name?
Younghoe Koo.
Game-winning field goal.
Yeah, Dolphins are terrible. Tua looks pretty good. Dolphins are terrible.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
I tweeted it Sunday. He started that game hot.
And then they went down, and then they came back, and then they still lost.
And then I saw that they were in that trade talk with Watson with the Panthers, but now the Panthers say they do not want to trade for Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I feel like the Dolphins' best move is probably to just stick with Tua, because what's the point in giving up as much as they're going to have to give up for an unknown situation? Unless you can trade conditional first-round picks based on Watson playing.
He's able to play, right? He's cleared to play.
I feel like if he's traded, the commissioner would then act upon it. But the commissioner hasn't done anything yet because I think they don't have enough information.
But he's able to play now.
Houston I guess.
Could play him.
He doesn't want to play there, and I don't think they want him to play at this point. I think they're kind of tanking.
But I'm just saying he's cleared to do it.
That's kind of unknown, to be honest. I mean, there's no thing that says he can play. There's nothing that says he can't play. So I guess if he's an active player, I think. So I guess, yeah, he could play.
And then the Jets got destroyed by the Patriots, 54-13. Thank God I started the Patriots defense in fantasy. I mean, it didn't matter. I won by 50 because everybody on my team went off. And I had the three-headed monster on the Cardinals with Ertz, Hopkins, and James Conner.
Yeah, the Jets aren't good. Growing pains. They got a rookie head coach, a lot of young coaches in the coaching staff, rookie quarterback, a lot of young players, probably the youngest roster in the league.
And if Zach Wilson's out 2 to 4 weeks with a knee injury, who's their backup? Is it Flacco?
Mike White. They just traded for Flacco. I think they traded for Flacco for him to be the backup, which I think giving up a 6th-round pick for Flacco is one of the dumbest moves I've ever seen.
Wait, where was Flacco?
Philly.
Oh, he was supposed to be Jalen Hurts' backup.
Well, then they brought in Gardner Minshew, so I think he was kind of like the third guy. At what point do you give up? Do you think at any point this season Philadelphia gives up on Hurts and goes to Minshew for a game? Because Hurts looks bad and the team looks bad.
I don't know if they start him, but I could see them trying to mix him
Hurts.
in.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see it.
Let Hurts run the RPO and then let Minshew in for a series to do his magic.
I mean, he's done more in the NFL than Hurts has at this point.
Yeah.
And the team sucks, so why not give it a go?
And then the Giants beat the Panthers 25-3. Sam Darnold was benched. And who's their backup?
PJ Walker. He was a XFL legend when the XFL was going on. But I think for the Houston team, Sam Darnold's going to start next week, but the Panthers don't look good after that hot start.
And then the Bengals blow Ravens out in Baltimore, 41-17. Jamar Chase had 201 yards.
Yeah, Jamar Chase is taking what Justin Jefferson did last season and doing even more. So pretty impressive. I mean,
he's also on my fantasy team.
Shout out. I think Jamar Chase was pulling a fast one on everybody when he said he was having trouble catching the ball because there wasn't the white stripes on it.
Yeah, and it was skinnier.
And now he's
the 82-yard touchdown. I mean, there was like 4 missed tackles on him.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably going to be second or third, maybe first in the league in yards. I think he's second right now behind Cooper Kupp, but yeah, he's having a good season.
I mean, Cooper Kupp's getting like 12 catches a game.
Yeah, he's clearly, yeah.
3 big favorites in the afternoon window win. The Rams 20-19 over the Lions. I thought that was going to be more of a blowout win for the Rams.
Yeah, I mean, the number was huge spread-wise, but Dan Campbell, MCDC, pulling out all the tricks.
I mean, they
did some cool things.
They're in almost every game.
Yeah, they're going to win this week, I think. They're playing against the Eagles. I think they'll win.
And Goff, he threw that pick to Ramsey at the end.
Bad pick, yeah.
If not, they could have went ahead. They could have won that game.
Yeah, I love the fact that MCDC's at the point now where he doesn't care. They did the fake punt, onside kick right away in the first quarter. So, yeah, they only got 3 points total after doing a fake punt to get into field goal range and then doing the onside kick. But, they're having fun, and they're not a good team. So
Arizona wins 31-5 over the Texans. Not much J.J. Watt in that. I thought he would have, tried going really hard on it and getting multiple sacks, but
probably would have gotten hurt if he tried too hard.
And then the Bucs whooped the Bears 38-3.
Yeah, the Bears are bad. Very bad.
And the Bucs did that without Antonio Brown, Levante David, Gronk, Antoine Winfield.
They don't need those guys.
Richard Sherman was out. And the other 2 corners are still out. And then they had another corner get hurt in the game.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. The Bucs defense didn't really have to do much because I feel like they did a lot, but I feel like they didn't have to because I think the Bears were not going to stop very much that day. They're bad. I mean, I can't believe that they gave up their first round pick for this upcoming draft to move up to get Fields last year. So they're not even going to have a first. It's probably going to be a top 13 pick at this point. Not good. Yeah. Did that help make up for the whole college football game the day before? I feel like you probably care about the Bucs more, right?
Did you just have to bring up the Penn State game?
We'll get it out of the way. It's only 13 minutes in, It's not that big of a deal. Penn State wasn't going to get to the playoff anyway.
Whoa.
They got Ohio State this week. They're not winning that game.
You never know.
And your coach, I have to say it, your coach is a bit of a buffoon. He thinks he's playing Illinois this week. Yeah.
Why? No.
Yesterday at the press conference, he said something about, our focus is on getting ready for Illinois this week. And he said a couple other things. Very weird. I don't know. He's losing his mind, I think.
And then the Raiders are 2-0 without Gruden. They win 33-22
over the Eagles. I don't know how I did that.
Oh, because you went over the Raiders.
Raiders beat the Raiders, yeah. I mean, the Eagles didn't even show up, so yeah, there you go.
The Colts beat the Niners in a rainy mess at Levi Stadium. This surprised me.
Niners aren't very good.
The Niners started out pretty good in that game. And then Jimmy Garoppolo looked good in the second half when the rain kind of settled down.
Is Kyle Shanahan a fraud? I think that's the question at this point. I know he's had a lot of injuries the last couple of seasons, but at some point you got to win some more games.
Yeah, I mean, and all the primetime games, like the Thursday, Sunday, and Monday night game, were pretty boring to watch.
Horrible.
I mean, you had the Saints outlast the Seahawks in a boring Monday Night Football. And can Geno even throw the ball? Because every time they get on like a 3rd and short, they're running it still with Alex Collins.
I mean, case in point, the last play of the game, 4th and 25, and he threw it like 20 yards, if that. I mean,
you have Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf. Do you not get him the ball on the 3rd and 3?
Nope. Geno Smith is bad. Jameis Winston's not much better.
And how long is Russell Wilson out?
Couple more weeks, you'd think. 3-4 more weeks, probably. They're going to have a rough go here. And they don't have a first-round pick either because the Jamal Adams trade.
Yeah, but do they need a first-round pick?
Their defense is terrible. Like, Jamal Adams is a glorified blitzer. He doesn't do very much else at safety, but there you go. Week 7 awards in the NFC. Offensive, defensive, and special teams players of the week, Alvin Kamara, Deion Jones, Graham Gano. And in the AFC, Jamar Chase, Yannick Ngakoue, and Rigoberto Sanchez is the special teams player of the week. A Colts punter, not surprising.
Did you like how I went ahead and I changed the week numbers for you so you didn't say the wrong ones this week?
Yeah, that was good because I had been struggling with that part of it for sure. Let's see. You have in the division leaders in the AFC, you have the Bills leading the East, Bengals and Ravens tied in the North, Titans up in the South, Raiders leading the West. In the NFC, the Cowboys had a bye week, but they remain at the top of the worst division in the league by far. In the East, Packers 6-1 in the North, Bucks 6-1 in the South, and Arizona 7-0 in the West. So, yeah. And then speaking of Arizona and Green Bay, they play tomorrow night. Packers, COVID issues, not good. Joe Barry, the defensive coordinator, is on the COVID list now. He will miss tomorrow night's game. Jerry Gray will call the plays. I believe he's been a defensive coordinator twice in the league. He's defensive backs coach for the Packers. Now, Devontae Adams will likely be out. The only way that he's not out is if he tests negative twice within the next 48 hours and travels on his own to Arizona. And he hasn't practiced all week, so I doubt it. And Alan Lazard is out as well. So missing 2 top receivers. And then the Cardinals on the flip side activated Chandler Jones off the COVID list. So this is a tough spot for the Packers. Kind of a house money spot. You know, everybody expects them to lose. They're probably going to lose. If they do lose, it'll be 6-2, whatever. But the problem is they go to Arrowhead next Sunday, and I don't care what the Chiefs look like. That's always a tough game. So, yeah, house money spot. The line went from 3 to 6.5. So, not good. Rodgers is pretty much going to be playing with Randall Cobb. Equinemi is St. Brown, Amari Rodgers.
And Tunyon.
Tunyon's there. Jones will be there.
And who's your other tight end? Mercedes Lewis?
Mercedes Lewis, he's always good for like a 11-yard bootleg, breaking a tackle. But it's going to be a rough go. Arizona's dynamic, explosive, and we'll make our pick for that game later. And now we go into the golf as we're kind of in the dead part of the season in golf because I don't think a lot of the big dogs are going to come out until after the holidays at this point.
Yeah, last weekend was the Zozo Championship. The winner was Hideki Matsuyama, purse 1.8 mil, shot 15 under. I tried watching this and trying to do it, but it was like the tee times were like 9 at night our time.
Too late, yeah.
And then this week you have the Butterfield Bermuda Championship, defending champion Brian Gay at the Port Royal Golf Course in Southampton Parish, Bermuda.
It's going to be an interesting tournament. Not a lot of big dogs there, so going to have to mix it up with the picks, and we'll see if we can nail one. I went 0 for 5 at the Zozo last week after a 2 for 5 week the week before, but yeah.
And then college basketball starts the tip-off November 9th. Gonzaga, I think, is supposed to have the first game at home, but I forgot they're playing like Dixie State or something.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of premier games in the first day other than the Champions Classic.
Yeah, you got number 3 Kansas versus Michigan State at Madison Square Garden, and then after that you'll have number 10 Kentucky versus number 9 Duke.
Yeah, I mean, these games, they're going to be good. I mean, not as good as they usually are. I don't think all 4 of them are exactly where they want to be, but I will say this. I know exactly who's going to win both of these games. I think Kansas beats Michigan State. I don't think Michigan State's going to be They'll be better than last year because they weren't very good last year. They were an 11-seed play-in team that blew a game against UCLA. Duke and Kentucky will both be better. I think Duke wins this game. Kansas is going to be very good. Kansas is a very deep team. I think I'd be very surprised if Kansas didn't go back to winning the Big 12 this season. And for Duke, there's no way they're not going to win the ACC in Coach K's final year. So I don't see that happening. And then for Kentucky, I mean, there's a lot of unknowns. Kentucky has two big transfers in Oscar Tshiebwe, a center from West Virginia, and Kellen Grady, a guard from Davidson. They have some freshmen. They have other mixtures of players. But I think Kentucky's going to be like a 3 or a 4 ranking-wise in terms of the SEC this season. Maybe they'll win it. I think some people think they will win it, but there's other teams that I like more. These games will be okay. Like usually you're looking like Kansas is top 5, Michigan State's top 10, Duke and Kentucky are top 5. A little different, but I also think that Kentucky should not be number 10. Like that's complete. They should be like 13 or 14. Yeah. To rank Kentucky ahead of Illinois is actually kind of disrespectful because Kentucky's way more unknown, and they were bad last season. But it is what it is. It doesn't matter at the end of the day.
And what Illinois just lost Io?
They lost Io, and I guess Adam Miller left, but Adam Miller got hurt at LSU, so he's not even going to play. And the other thing with Miller is they pretty much replaced him with Alfonso Plummer from Utah, who's pretty much the same player. So,
I mean, he was inconsistent.
Yeah.
So basically, you only lost Io.
Yeah, and then they gained 3 solid freshmen, 2 of which were pretty high tier 4-stars, and then another one was a lower tier 4-star.
Now, if Illinois would have lost Kofi to the draft,
yeah, then they'd be like 24th if ranked at all, if I had to guess, because they're still good without. They'd still be good without both of them, but they're much better with one of them at least. And last season, when Io got hurt, they went into Michigan and beat Michigan. They look better without him because I don't think when Io is not playing, they don't know who's going to attack. Like Curbelo can make a play, Frazier can shoot, DeMonte Williams can shoot, Kofi underneath. You don't know who's going to attack. When Io's there, you know it's going to be him. So I think it's going to be a little bit harder to guard them this season.
Yeah, and then Baylor freshman Langston Love tears his ACL in a scrimmage against Texas A&M. Will miss the entire season.
Yeah, that's less than ideal for a Baylor team that pretty much lost their 3 best players from last season in Davion Mitchell, Jared Butler, and Maceo Teague, but they're still returning a good amount. They'll be 3 or 4, I think, in the Big 12 this season. I still like them. Matthew Meyer should have a big season. He was good last season, expanded role this season. LJ Cryer, who was on the team last season but didn't play much, he'll be a guard for them up top. And they also still have the duo in the front court of Flo Thamba and Jonathan Chamu Chachua. So they're still good. They'll be fine. Scott Drew's a great coach too. So unfortunate though to lose a big-time freshman like this.
Yeah. And then baseball. You had the Astros beat the Red Sox 4-2, and the Braves beat the Dodgers 4-2. World Series started last night. Braves won that game, but Charlie Morton fractured his right fibula in the second inning on a hit from Gurriel.
Yeah, and then he got 2 strikeouts after that.
1.
Well, he faced 3 batters and got a strikeout. And he almost –
but after the second inning, like the catcher asked him if he was all right because he saw him limping. They went, got him x-rays. He threw some balls in the net, said he was fine. Came out, pitched to 3 batters, struck out Altuve on a curve ball.
Yeah.
And then they took him to somewhere else to get images, and then it showed the fracture, which, I mean, it could have happened after that from him planning or pushing off that leg for 3 more batters.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, I have to be honest, I am probably not – this will probably be the least amount of a World Series that I'll ever watch, to be honest, because it's like, number one, these 2 teams don't interest me a ton. And the games start too late, I think, for the general public. Not for me, but for a lot of people. Like, it's almost 10 o'clock, and this game's in, like, the 4th inning. Like, that is absurd.
Yeah.
10 o'clock Eastern, I guess, technically. But, like, still, it's too much. And, I hope the Braves win. That's pretty much all I have to say about it.
Yeah, I'm rooting for the Braves, too. But that's a big hit to them, losing Morton.
Yeah, Morton's a stud. I don't care how old he is. He's still – I mean, he's gotten better. He's one of those guys that wasn't that great, like, 10 years ago. But the last few years, he's been really good.
Then you got game 2 tonight. It's
Max Fried and Urquidy, Jose Urquidy. I don't know how to spell or how to pronounce his name. Solid pitcher. Let's do the NHL. A couple news items before we get into the Blackhawks thing. We'll briefly touch on that. I just wanted to do Vegas. They've reportedly ramped up their talks for center Jack Eichel. We'll see if that goes down. I think at this point, Eichel may file a grievance with the Buffalo Sabres, not allowing him to have the surgery that he wants. The Sabres are good though somehow. I think they're 4-1-1 or 4-2-1. So I don't know what's going on there, but they're not playing horribly yet.
But even if Vegas takes him, then does he get the surgery he wants?
Yeah. And the surgery that he wants, I think, is a shorter recovery time, but there's more risk. Like I think the surgery that he wants is similar to what Tiger Woods had in his back, the fusion.
Oh.
So I think it's a quicker recovery, but no player, it's a disc replacement, I think, but no like NHL player's ever done the surgery before. So there's a risk that it could not help over time. So that's why I don't blame Buffalo for being concerned, but I also think like they should, do something about this instead of letting it linger. Blues captain Ryan O'Reilly will miss at least 4 games on the COVID list. So COVID ravaging 2 of my teams right now. Not great. Brandon Saad's already on the list. He's missed the last 2 games, but the Blues are 5-0-0. Good start to the season. They got Colorado tomorrow and Chicago on Saturday. Speaking of Chicago, Jonathan Taves is on the COVID protocol list. I believe Patrick Kane is as well. So COVID hitting the Central Division pretty hard here.
I thought they made all the hockey teams get all the shots too.
Every player is vaccinated except for one. Tyler Bertuzzi of Detroit is the only one not vaccinated. And the reason or the thing for him is that he can't play in Canada. So when Detroit plays Canadian games, he can't play there. And the other issue I have with this is why is the NHL's testing protocol so much more strict? Like they're testing vaccinated players without symptoms multiple times a week. That seems like a bit much. I feel like, number one, if you don't have symptoms, you shouldn't be tested if you're vaccinated. Number two, the only time that you should be testing players is if they do have symptoms.
Well, I just don't last year during college basketball, I think you had to get tested every day.
Yeah, and now other leagues and all that stuff, they're starting to loosen those. Like the NBA doesn't test very much because if players are vaccinated, like they should make the vaccination, incentivize it. Because what's the point in getting it if you're still being tested multiple times a week?
Yeah,
I think the NHL's got to loosen those. I know they're having a meeting in like 5 days to look into doing that, but I heard the rumor is that they aren't going to do that to loosen it, but we'll see. Montreal, who made it to the Cup final last year, they're a disaster. I think a lot of people didn't think they'd be this bad, but they lost Shea Weber and Carey Price is still out, so I think people knew that they wouldn't be as good, but they're 1-6-0. They lost to Seattle last night, blowout. I think it was 5-1 or 6-1. Only 3 players in the team have more than 3 points, 3 or more points. That's in 7 games. Jonathan Drouin has 5. Matthew Pro has 4 because he's a hat trick in 1 game. And Christian Dvorak, who they got from Arizona, has 3. So they're a mess, and we'll see what happens there. I don't expect them to be very good at all the rest of the season. And real quick, the Blackhawks thing, GM Stan Bowman stepped down upon the release of an investigation report regarding 2010 abuse by video coordinator Brad Aldridge on a player, and that was pretty much covered up by the organization. Bowman also stepped down as the U.S. hockey GM for the Olympics this season, which is annoying because he already put Seth Jones in the team, who's terrible. No offense to Seth Jones. He is not a good defenseman. He's not worthy of being on the team. I don't know if they can fix that, but I assume Bill Guerin, who is the GM of the Minnesota Wild, will be the next GM for them. And then you also had Shevel Dayoff, the GM of the Winnipeg Jets, is involved in this. He was the assistant GM in Chicago at the time. He has a meeting with Bettman on Monday. And then Joel Quenneville, who was a big part of this. Apparently the investigation found in the meeting that the higher-ups of the Blackhawks had in 2010, I think before the playoffs or during the beginning of the playoffs, he pretty much said the team was playing well. He didn't want to mess anything up. And they pretty much covered this whole thing up. They denied knowing about it, as they said they knew about it like a couple years after. So they said they didn't know about it until after they won the cup. They knew it before they won the cup. So not good. I don't know what's going to happen there, but the fact that the league only fined the Blackhawks organization $2 million is embarrassing, because you could just look at an example. The New Jersey Devils were fined $3 million for circumventing the cap, I believe in 2011 or somewhere around there. They were fined $3 million, and they lost draft picks for circumventing the cap. But the Blackhawks do all of this BS, and they're only fined $2 million, and they don't lose draft picks. So the league just can't get out of its own way. I don't know. You got any comments on this?
No. other than you can give that cup to the Bruins.
I mean, I don't think that's going to happen, but the Bruins should just go and win one this season. I mean, they got a good enough team. Goaltending's really the only question at the end of the day.
Yeah, I can't wait for him to re-sign Tuukka then late in the season.
I think the defense outside of McAvoy could be a little bit better, but yeah, they'll always be fine with that top line healthy, I think, unless they're playing the 2019 Blues and then they get shut down. But anyway, college football.
Just shots on shots at me today.
Well, my teams are all, losing stuff due to COVID, so I figure, might as well have some fun.
Yeah, the Bucks have how many injuries right now?
The Bucks and the Packers both have a ton of injuries, but the Packers also have the COVID issues. It's brutal. Haven't lost a game because of it until tomorrow, but hey, we'll see.
The new top 25, though, you got Georgia stays at 1, Cincinnati stays at 2, Alabama goes up 1-3, Oklahoma drops 1-4. I don't know how that switched there because neither team lost, or Oklahoma didn't lose, but Alabama jumped in front of them. Ohio State stays at 5, Michigan stays at 6, Oregon goes up 3-7, Michigan State goes up 1-8, Iowa goes up 2-9. Ole Miss goes up 2-10. Notre Dame goes up 2-11. Kentucky up 3-12. Wake Forest up 3-13. Texas A&M up 3-14. Oklahoma State drops 7-15. Baylor goes up 4-6. Pittsburgh goes up 6-17. Auburn goes up 1-18. SMU goes up 2-19. Penn State drops 13 to number 20. San Diego State up 1-21. Iowa State at 22. They were not ranked. UTSA goes up 1-23. Coastal Carolina drops 10 after losing to Appalachian State to 24. And BYU's back in the ranks at 25.
I don't mean any disrespect, but I'm surprised Penn State's still ranked. Because I feel like if you lose to Illinois, you should probably automatically – because Illinois is bad, but I don't know.
You meant disrespect there. Don't say that.
I didn't, though. I was just wondering. I didn't think that they should – and the reason I think Alabama jumped Oklahoma is because Alabama generally, other than that loss, has been a better team. Like, Oklahoma's bad. They should have lost to Texas. Tulane hung around with them. Kansas State almost beat them again. So I don't know. Alabama's better. I think they're right about that. Let's do the picks. We got a lot of picks to be made. I went 11-9 last week. 5-2 in college football. 4-4 in the NFL. 0-1 Major League Baseball. 1-1 each in the NBA and the NHL.
I went 10-12. I got one golfer. I had Hideki Matsuyama finishing in the top 5, and he won. Lost 0-1 in baseball, 1-1 in the NBA, 1-1 in hockey, 2-6 in college football, and 5-3 in the NFL.
All right. Where do you want to start?
Let's start at the Bermuda. My top 3 to win are Matthew Fitzpatrick at plus 1,000, Patrick Reed at plus 2,000, and Chad Ramey at 2,000. My top 5 is Danny Willett at plus 700, and my top 10 is Stefan Yeager at plus 400.
All right. My picks to win: Patrick Reed plus 2,000. A guy who's been playing well this past couple, or I guess the entire year he's been solid. Guido Migliozzi plus 4,000, and then Steven Yeager plus 4,500. A very good Corn Ferry player, so why not win one here? And then finish top 5, Mito Pereira plus 350, and top 10, Matthew Fitzpatrick plus 130. I think we should let's do the World Series and then the hockey and the basketball, then go to the football. I think that's a good order. So we got game 2 of the World Series tonight. Who do you like?
I got the Braves plus 105.
I could see the Braves winning this game, but I think the Astros won't lose 2 in a row at home. I'll take the Astros minus 125. Hockey picks for the night. What do you got?
Yeah, and the hockey's for tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah.
I got Boston plus 110 at Carolina and St. Louis plus 105 at home against Colorado.
All right. I have the Penguins. I don't know if Crosby will be back, but he might be. They're still playing hard without all the. They have a ton of injuries. Penguins minus 120 home against Calgary. Calgary's been hot, but something's got to give there. And then I'm just going to take Tampa. They've been pretty rough this season, but they're playing the worst team in the league, Arizona, minus 280 Tampa. Might as well take that. And then NBA picks, I believe, are tonight's slate. So what do you got?
I got the Lakers minus 4.5 at OKC, who haven't won a game. I don't know how the spread's this low.
Yeah. I don't know if LeBron's going to play. I think that might be what the issue.
Then I have the Hawks minus 5 at the Pelicans.
I also like the Lakers minus 4.5 at OKC, and I'll take the Cavs plus 8 to hang around with the Clippers in the late night game. So, all right, college football. Power 5 games. I did mine in order. Let's see if you did yours in order. Go for it.
Yeah, in the ACC, I have Virginia at BYU, BYU minus 2.5. In the Big 12, I have Texas at Baylor, Baylor minus 3. Big 10, I have Purdue at Nebraska. I got Purdue plus 7.5.
That's a nice number.
Pac-12, I got Oregon State at Cal. Oregon State minus 1.5. And the SC, I got Kentucky at Mississippi State at minus 1.
All right, we have a couple. We have one where we're going head-to-head and one where we're on the same page. I'll take Syracuse minus 6 against Boston College in the ACC. I'll take Texas plus the 3 at Baylor in the Big 12. I will take Iowa plus 3 at Wisconsin in the Big 10. I will take UCLA plus 6.5 to bounce back at Utah in the Pac-12. And then the SEC, I will also take Kentucky minus the 1 at Mississippi State.
Yeah, and there was only the 2 or 4 SEC games this week.
Yeah, small slate in the SEC bye weeks, I guess. So.
And then our primetime games, we got number 6 Michigan at number 8 Michigan State, number 10 Ole Miss at number 18 Auburn, and then number 20 Penn State at number 5 Ohio State. I got Michigan minus 4 at Michigan State.
I actually have Michigan minus 4.5 at Michigan State, so I'll take the Wolverines.
And then I got Ole Miss plus 2.5 at Auburn.
I also have Ole Miss plus 2.5 at Auburn.
And then I have Penn State plus 18.5 at Ohio State.
I don't see it with Penn State's offense, and I think Ohio State's
I'm not saying they're winning.
Yeah,
but I don't think
this is a big number.
I don't think they're losing by more than 18.5.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to take Ohio State just because Ohio State looks so good the last couple of weeks, and they're kind of emerging once again as the best team in the conference, which I think everyone probably knew they would be at some point. They just have too much talent.
Michigan has looked really good.
Yeah, Michigan's been good. But the thing with Michigan and Ohio State, I just need Michigan to prove it to me, Beat Ohio State for once. That's what Michigan needs to do. But I'll take Ohio State minus the 18.5. Let's do the NFL. Big Thursday night game. Even though there's a lot of injuries, but the records look good and the quarterbacks are still playing. So
yeah, Packers at Arizona.
Who you like?
I got the Cardinals minus 6.5.
Me too. I don't see it happening for the Packers. I just a lot of injuries on both sides of the ball. The defense, pretty much every position group, their best players out. So just got to get through it.
Sunday night football, you got the Cowboys at the Vikings. I got the Cowboys minus 2.5.
I was so close to taking the Cowboys, and then I thought Mike McCarthy in Minnesota. I don't see it happening. So I'll take the Vikings plus 2.5 as a home dog.
And then Monday Night Football, you got the Giants at Kansas City. I got the Chiefs minus 9.5.
Yeah, I think this is a bounce back spot. They've looked so bad for most of the season. Giants aren't that good of a team. Although the Giants offense shouldn't have too much trouble scoring against the Chiefs defense, which is terrible, but I'll still take the Chiefs minus the 9.5.
And then we have our 5 other games. I got the Titans plus 1 at Indy. The Niners minus 3.5 at Chicago. Jacksonville at Seattle. I got Seattle minus 3. Bucks at New Orleans. I got the Bucks minus 5.5. And the Washington football team at Denver, I have Washington football team +3.
All right, I like the Bears +3.5 against the Niners. The Niners look beat up, bad. The Lions are winning this week. I said it earlier. I'm riding with it 3.5 +3.5 at home against the Eagles. Give me the Patriots +6 at the Chargers. I just think last season the Patriots defense beat up Justin Herbert. And I think the Belichick's going to do something similar this week. I don't think they're going to – I don't know if they'll win, but I think they can keep it really close against the Chargers. Give me the Bengals -10.5. At the Jets are bad. They're going to have Mike White at quarterback. I don't see who's going to cover Jamar Chase. This could be ugly for the Jets. And I also take the Titans +1. I don't know how they're a dog at the Colts. So interesting slate. A little better than last week. Still a lot of big spreads, though. Not as to the high level as last week, but I feel like we should have just, since most Thursday night games suck, and to benefit the Packers with COVID issues, move that game to Sunday, then move like Jacksonville, Seattle to Thursday. Even though Seattle played on Monday, they're not good and they lost, so I feel like you should be able to do whatever you want. But anyway.
What's your over? I'm 165 and 156 now.
167 and 148. By the way, before we get out of here, my soccer picks of the week, or footy as they call it, 7-3-1 the last 2 weeks. Pretty good start. I actually hit on a draw bet last week too.
What were you last week?
6-2-1 last week. I have less picks this week, but I hit Crystal Palace and Newcastle +100 to draw. That hit last week, so that was pretty sweet. This week, I'm going a little spread it out a little bit between the leagues. I got 4 different leagues, and I have I have 5 different leagues. Not as many picks, though. In La Liga, give me Atletico Madrid -145 at Levante. Should be an easy win for Madrid. I don't think that's going to be trouble for them. I am picking a couple MLS games because I saw a couple numbers that I liked. NYCFC -110 at Miami CF. So that's an easy pick. Then Columbus Crew taking a shot here. They're a pretty good team as far as I am concerned. +425 against DC United. So that's a big number, and I like that. Then in the Bundesliga, give me Bielefeld versus Mainz +240 to draw. Premier League, Chelsea's hot, -275 against Newcastle. And then I'll take a shot with Burnley +175 against Brentford. Brentford's goalkeeper is injured. Don't know his name. I only know the name of about 50 players in total in the entire world. But that's fine. And then in League One, I just wanted to throw this out there because I think PSG is going to win like 5-0. PSG -350 against Lille. 7-3-1 overall. Probably going to go undefeated this week. Keep it moving. Boom.
Book it.
All right. That does it for us. I forgot what number this was. I think it was 35. So we'll have 36 coming. First episode of November next week. We'll see you next Wednesday. And we'll cover all the sports. We'll see you then.